Hello everyone, here I am, I'm back again. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and I'm just saying that because I haven't done a video or reading and I guess about 2 weeks now. So here I am, guys, and I'm really tired, but I'm not as tired as I've been. So, and I really want to do this. I enjoy doing this, and so I'm glad to be back to do it. It's what I love to do, and I haven't been able to do it for such a long time. And as many of you know, I've been moving. And I don't want to harp too much on that because I'm trying to put it behind me. Oh, Lord. But you know, a friend sent me a message and she said, so how'd the move go? You guys all settled in? The only thing I could think of was, you know when you have an event in your life and years and years later, someone will say to you, hey, remember that time when? And then you take like a long pause and wow, actually I'd kind of forgotten about that, but yeah, I remember. It's kind of like that. Like, it's just so yeah. I'll tell you, I've never in my life moved in the dead of winter during a pandemic. Oh my gosh, yeah, it was cold. I mean, it was sunny though. I have to say that it's been sunny. But it was like -17 that day. And you know, double doors in front of the house, wide open so things can come in. It got pretty cold in the house, like 5 or 7 degrees. So it was cold, but that really was nothing compared to everything. Everything that I've been through, it's just too much, and I really don't want to talk about it. So, actually, to really top it off, I'm gonna do, so this is a collective reading, okay? And I tell you, I'm laughing a lot because at this point, I just have to laugh, or I do something really stupid, and it's like, okay, just keep going because I just don't know anymore. I'm like, you know that phrase, a hot mess? There's nothing hot about it. I'm just trying to think of what is the opposite of hot. A hot mess almost sounds like kind of interesting and intriguing. This is just, I've just been like a really cold, clammy, damp mess. It's horrible. So I'm going to do a fairy reading for the collective. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm in this too. They can come out and tell us. Because the last 2 weeks of my life have been just a disaster. I've been a disaster. So this is kind of how everything has been going. This is when you realize you're kind of your own worst enemy. So I wanted to put a new shower head on my shower because it's just it's a fairly new house. I think the house is 4 years old. The person who bought it didn't really do much to it, really. That's okay, anyways. So it's one of those builder's faucet heads, you know, shower heads. And it's also, I'm sorry, I love the environment, but it's also a water saving one. And you know when you turn the hose on and you're watering plants outside and then you turn the hose off and then you realize at the last minute, oh, like there's mud or something on your hands, and you, instead of turning the hose back on, you want to try to get the trickles. That's what it was like coming out of the shower. And I cannot, I think I had to, it took me 5 times as long to rinse my hair one day. I thought, this is crazy. So I got myself a nice one. I got myself a nice, I don't know what it is, Simone. It's got like 5 settings for massage. And you don't even need tools to put it on. It's amazing. Everything is just hand tightened. And it's boom, bang, boom. I love it. But do you think I could get the old one off? I could not get the old one off. I put WD-40 in that bugger. And then I went online and I was banging it, thinking maybe it's just, you know, it's like a jar. If you give it a good bang, you can loosen it. You know, I had a monkey wrench. I had pliers, vice grips. I taped. At one point, I could realize I was turning so hard, I was actually starting to turn the whole pipe. Oh, this is not good. So then I got a vice grips, tape around the pipe, holding that, trying to turn it. It wouldn't come off. I mean, this is crazy. I can't live with this shower. Like, hardly any water comes out of it. So I looked online and it said, okay, so there could be like calcium and mineral buildup in the threads. So soak it in vinegar. I'm like, okay, great. I have vinegar. I'm not a fabric softener. I'm telling you, I'm pretty natural. I have like those little wool balls. That's another thing you can't say in my house right now. Anyways, have wool balls that I put in the dryer, and I have tons of white vinegar I use instead of fabric softener, and it works great. It's wonderful. So I'm like, great, yeah. So I pour the vinegar in a Ziploc bag, and I put it over the head, and I zip tie it real tight so it's sitting in the threads. And it's set online, you know, leave it for a few hours or even overnight. I'm leaving that puppy all day, and I'm leaving it all night. So I did that. I woke up the next morning and thought, I don't want to fight with it before I have a shower. So I managed to change to one of my son's showers. So I thought, I'm going to go do his. And this is a really dumb thing once you find out what I was doing. I did his fine. So I go back to mine. I'm thinking, okay, I'm ready to wrestle with it because I just feel like there's going to be a wrestle. So I start, and damn thing won't turn. I'm thinking, this is impossible. I've done everything. I'm thinking, do I need to hire a plumber to take off the shower head? I'm sorry if you're new to the channel. Maybe I'll put a timestamp in here so you can see. But this is really to top off. Okay. And at one, I finally got it to turn just a little bit. Literally, I actually sprained my tricep muscles doing this. And it turned. I stopped and I thought, this is crazy. It's almost like it's getting tighter. It was getting tighter as I turned it because I was turning it the wrong way. Do you see why I want to forget about my entire move? So I'm thinking of it because for some reason my brain is not transforming this, you know, right to tight, left to loose, that whole thing, on this angle. So I'm right to tight, like, oh my God, I think you're tightening it, Cindy. That's why it won't come off. So I changed my approach. It turned right away. Like right away. Right away. And then yeah. I thought, you know, we need a good fairy reading. I know I do. Good fairy reading. Yeah. So, this is a move that I would rather forget, that never happened. So let's start right now. Let's not talk about any of that stuff. I hope it doesn't come up in readings. Lord knows it probably will. As a lesson that I've been through, that I'm sure I meant to share with you at some point in someone's reading. So, I'm up in the loft. You probably couldn't even tell that I'm in a different space, could you? Thought about that when I put this up. But it's definitely a different space. Lily's got her bed in here. And yeah, I'm gonna do this reading. And yeah, I think my fingers are up. That was the other thing. I have never been so physically exhausted. Never. I thought about it one day as I was laying on the floor because I was spent and every muscle and tendon in my body felt inflamed and sore. I thought, no, I remember when I worked on the dairy farm when I was 18. I spent a summer working on a dairy farm, and I think it was the second morning. I could barely move. I had to get up at 4:30 because the cows needed to come in the barn at 5 a.m. And I didn't know how I was going to get up. And I was 18 then, but I got up, and I remember thinking, yeah, I feel all that, but more, and I'm not 18. So it was hard. My fingers were actually swollen. My fingers were all swollen. I had pain in my hip. Like, it just felt like a deep tendon that was swollen and inflamed. I mean, everything is getting better. You might see me throughout the readings kind of do a bit of this because I'm still, yeah, like, it was just, anyways. So, I don't know where I was going with that. Let's do a reading. See, I need something to focus on too because I've been so focused on the move. And anyways, let's start with the singing bowl, guys, and then we're going to do the fairy. And I'm doing this as a premiere if all of you are watching this as it's premiering so you can chit chat. I don't know if I'll be in the chit chat with you because I want to start to do regular readings, and I know we left off at Gemini, believe so, which will put us Cancer, and everyone after them has been waiting for a couple of weeks so patiently for their reading, and I'm looking forward to doing that for everyone. So I'm going to do my singing bowl, although I have completely smudged and cleared the space in this house. Interesting community. I'll tell you about that too. Maybe this shouldn't be, we're going to do a reading. I know, I thought to myself I should sit down and just do an up-to-date with you guys, but I don't want to go into the move. I don't want to talk about it. So I just want to describe this neighborhood. Like a lot of you saw when I first got the house, I saw little tiny people outside blowing bubbles. I was so excited. I've never seen them since, and I haven't seen anybody since. Honest to God, if a Twilight Zone episode, this is where I live. This is what it's like here, which is really strange when I tell you how it is, because my good friend, I've mentioned her a few times, my Pisces friend, she lives not far from me. We're in the same community now. I want to say it's about a 6 to 8 minute walk from my house to hers, depending on how many times Lily, my dog, would stop to sniff. Maybe 10 minutes with Lily. But anyway, so where she is, it's a bustling, like cars are zipping by. It's very busy. They live right beside a little park. Tons of people, which is great for her because she is very, very social. So it's good for her. That does not exist at this end of the community. It's like a Twilight Zone episode. If you can imagine this, if you will. You're in your house and you've decided to go down into, let's say, the cantina, the cold room, whatever that is, however, whatever you call that in your neck of the woods. So let's say it's almost like a cement bunker. And while you're down there, some sort of catastrophic event happens. But let's say it's energetic. Maybe it's something to do with a solar flare, radiation. I don't know what that event is, but it takes place while you're in your cement bunker. So everyone is dead when you come out. But you don't really know that because they were all in their houses when this happened. So the next time you go outside, everything is where it should be. Cars are parked. Christmas decorations are out. But there's no one. And I mean there's no one. No one. I have taken Lily for quite a few walks now. And I've seen 2 people. And in about 10 walks that we've done. And we go for a good 30-minute walk. And there's no one. I'm telling you, no one. I've not seen anyone. It's weird. It's literally like coming out of your house and the world has ended. So it's quiet. It's insanely quiet here, which is nice. I guess I like it. It's really, really quiet. But it's almost getting a little weird, like not seeing anybody. So anyways, I have to get my friend to come up here so she can see what it's like at this end of the community. She won't believe it because it's weird. You can walk and walk and walk and walk. You can probably stay out all day. And you won't even see a car go by. Like it's really like the world ended. Anyways, so that's where I am. I'm in the Twilight Zone. So I feel like I'm rambling, but it's probably good that I get this all out in a group reading. So I'll try not to ramble too much in the individual. Although you guys say you like that. I don't know. Maybe I think because I'm all full of Aries and Gemini, I'm like, let's just get on with it. Come on, let's enough of this. Yeah, but I'm also so tired and worn out that I'm kind of mellow for me, I think. Do I seem sort of mellow? I seem sort of mellow. Kind of mellow. So, the singing bowl. I just saw a car go by. It's crazy. Oh, so a little warning, if you are hypersensitive to frequencies, sounds, maybe take off the headphones if that's what you've got on, how you're listening, or if you don't, just turn the volume down and just see what you're comfortable with. Because we're going to clear the space here. I know most people enjoy this, so we're going to do it, and I think it's a great way to start a new reading in the new space with me, Cindy, and the fairies. So here we go. You all ready? Are you ready for this? Okay, let's do it. Let's get started. I should tell you, there's a card in this deck that wasn't in here before. I decided to put it in. If you have this deck, you'll know that there's a card that comes blank and you can make your own fairy. I've never done that. I didn't feel inspired to do one yet. Of course, now my nose is itchy. But I put it in because I wanted to symbolize space, empty space. And if there's ever a message for that. And I'm just saying, I don't know if it's coming. I don't know if I'll ever get it out because there's a lot of cards in here. But anyways, just so you know that's in there now. A message, a fairy to come forward at this time. A message for the collective. A message for the collective. All those who are coming to this reading have been patiently waiting. The Friends. Oh, I love it. It's kind of like we're back together again, guys, isn't it? I feel like it. It's like a warm hug. Where the hell were y'all when I was moving? Seriously. Are you just good time friends because you know what I mean? No. Well, that was the hard part too, because typically I'll have a whole bunch of friends, you know, helping to clean cupboards and to unpack stuff. You couldn't do that this time. Number 46. I have pulled this card out a few times. So, number 46, Friends. Friendship, support, aid. The one on top is fair enough, and I've already told you all that he wants me to say about him in the introduction to part 2. I'm sorry, this book is like a chapter book. You're supposed to read the whole thing. He and Locken, his high-speed friend beneath, are the best of friends and can nearly always be found together. Call upon fair enough, and you get Locken as well. And when you need support or to better understand true friendship, do call upon them. As children, we all have fairy playmates and fairy guardians. As we grow older, the pressure of parents and others in our community often nag us into blocking our visions of and communications with the fairies. Fair enough and Locken can help us go back to that childlike trust in the fairies and to renew our forgotten friendships with them. I like this. They can also often help us to learn more about the true meaning of friendship. I love that this card came out because I mean, I literally have not really touched my own tarot cards for almost 2 weeks. There's been the odd time I picked it up and I didn't want to. I couldn't get into that space. And this morning I knew I was going to start doing readings and I didn't know like what. And then when I was in the shower, using my new wonderful shower head that I installed, I just immediately felt like the fairies. We need to go to the fairies because my whole life too has felt like fairy, like fairy energy. So it's almost time for that to come back and it's a reconnection. I feel like this is so much like we're reconnecting. I'm helping you guys reconnect with everything around. And you help me reconnect too because I can try to read for myself and I don't get the same sort of deep messages that I get when I'm reading the collective. So it's really a symbiotic relationship. In the reading, what is that? There's like a little poem here before you get into in the reading. Oh, wasn't it fascinating? I just feel like the oak men are right beside the friends. Hands outstretched, reach across the rushing water. You steady me, I steady you on the slippery rocks of time. Hands reaching, giving, and giving in return. I am so grateful to you for being there. I could never have managed alone. In the reading, friendly cooperation with others is necessary to reach mutual goals. Willingness to give and receive assistance and support is also required. Ask friends for help and suggestions. Listen with respect and accept the gifts willingly offered. Unconditional receiving is even more difficult than unconditional giving. 4 feet are more stable than 2. Alternatively, fair enough and lock-in may be saying that you will benefit at this time from offering support and aid to a friend. Look around you. Someone you love may be needing your help and be too bound up by fear of rejection or pride to ask. Volunteer your help to your friends and give unconditionally from a generous, loving heart. It will do you good, increasing your store of credit for help in time of need, and it might even help them. I think that's great too. I'm just thinking about like myself wanting to talk about my move and move beyond that. It just like what that was saying reminds me so much of having this desire to do a reading and to connect with an energy outside of my own, which too is very difficult at this time. There's no one else to laugh with me, realizing that I've been for 2 days turning the shower head in the wrong direction to take it off. Right, so coming out of your own space, coming out of your own energy, even if it feels like despair, or it feels frustrating, or it feels lonely, or it feels lost, it feels vulnerable, to come out of that, it helps you, even though you think, it's not going to help me to go and share my energy. I don't want to talk to, like, whatever frame of mind we could temporarily get into, it kind of does help. It takes you right out of your own energy. Like, no man is an island, correct? So, I mean, human beings are social creatures. And I just keep going back to it. Like, the pandemic is, it's so much about taking time to look within. And it's funny, right? Because talking about this neighborhood that I'm in, like, there's nobody there. There's nobody out. I'm looking out, there's a door behind the camera, and it's got a great big glass pane in it. And I can see, like, far, far off in the distance, I see tons of sky. But I can't see a sidewalk. And there's, like, no one. There's no one. This is really feeling of isolation. So maybe this message is, I'm going to pull out more cards. I'm sticking with, what the Oakman always liked. We have the Wolf and the Empress. Really interesting energy. This is like Alpha, almost like Emperor to me. And Empress, balance, yin and yang. So my Wild Unknown decks. I'm feeling like maybe this reading is about the energy that all of us have gone into in a mental and emotional, spiritual, physical capacity. I feel that I've been beaten down on every level this last year, and the last one remaining was physical. I was literally laying on the floor at one point, trying to breathe because my back muscles had become so tight, like that was wrapped around my ribs. So any element that you've been pushed through in the last year, month, week, day, whatever that means for you, and kind of slowly coming out of that. And maybe for some of you, it may be hard. For some of us, it may be hard, depending on the element it is, or how we're being pushed, or how we're being guided. So let's see what comes out. I'm just going to shuffle. I'm keeping it really open. I'm just going to start with the Wild Unknown Oracle again. I'm going to see what card comes out. I just want to kind of read it intuitively. I don't even really know what's going on in the world either, to be honest. I really do feel quite isolated here. The internet is working, but they couldn't get the TV working and the home phone. I don't know if I need those. The Fox. I feel like a path is about to be diverted. Your path is about to be diverted. Thinking on your feet. It's almost as if moving towards with these two cards sitting here, I feel like moving towards a goal. Feeling like you are moving towards a goal. You have a direction. You may even have some sort of this. I mean, this could be energy playing out into the future for you. Or it could be present. But you and someone else. And who that someone else could be. It could be your dog. It could be a companion like that. It could be a child. It could be a spouse. It could be a friend. Moving forward, and then there's a diversion with this Fox card. There's a change in the path. And the Fox is looking like right at, like both these energies are about to come together. Boom, boom. They're about to come together. Kind of feeling like you have a direction, you know where you're going. And because you have like someone else here with you, feeling guided to do that, even if you're sort of feeling guided by spirit, the universe, things are playing out a certain way, thinking, yeah, this is where, this is like pretty confident, this seems pretty right. There's almost two paths about to come together here, and there's a diversion that's created. And the Fox is earth, so it's a very grounding diversion. The Lamb is at the bottom. It's also earth energy. In a sense, I'm hearing the word spring, like spring lamb, spring. There's a diversion in the spring. There's something that is going to be diverted in the spring, like your path or something. It doesn't have to be like your whole path in life and I also don't think it's something as simple as, well, I used to always go grocery shopping over there, and now that construction, I can't, I'm going over here. I mean, maybe, but there's probably something more significant about that path being changed for you. Let's pull these tarot cards out and get an idea about this diversion. It really does feel like a diversion. Almost as if the Fox is blocking the path. Like, it's almost like a block. But it's meant to serve as a diversion. To divert you. Okay. It's interesting how I laid these cards out. So yeah, you guys can see it. What I'm feeling like now, the way these cards are sitting here, and this is not how I would have normally done it. I would have taken these cards and put them up at the top and then laid it across the bottom. But the way this is sitting here, this is the block. This is what you're being blocked from. And it's not all that bad, although it's interesting. So you get the Four of Pentacles. I'm sorry too about the lighting. I don't know how the lighting is. Is it too bright? Is it washing everything out? I don't even know. Nine of Wands. This is a really accurate depiction to me of Nine of Wands. Like going up that staircase, but you gotta watch every step. And you just know you're gonna hurt yourself along the way. There's so many obstacles and ouchies along that staircase. Like, it's really exhausting. To a point too where it kind of reminds me of like where I've been. I mean, just being so exhausted to the point where you're such a dumbass trying to take a shower head off for 2 days, and then you finally realize it's almost like it's getting tighter as I turn it. But because you were so fatigued with what you've been doing and what you've been working through, that if you weren't that fatigued, if you weren't already that battle worn from whatever happened in the past, the staircase wouldn't seem so intimidating. It wouldn't be the 9 of Wands. It wouldn't be almost like I'm really at my limit. How am I going to get up there? Like I'm not on my game. I can't go up those stairs. And then you get the 9 of Pentacles and the Magician. But this feels to me like what the Fox is blocking you from. It's blocking you. So there's going to be a block here. There's going to be a change, some sort of a diversion in your path. And I know I'm using that word over and over again, but it just keeps coming up. But this diversion may seem like at first an obstacle. It may seem like, well, why is this being put up in front of me? Like I know where we're going to be going here. I know it's right. It feels right. It feels, it's as if this is a hard way to get to here. That's what the path is. The path that you're on, or a path that you're going to be going on, might seem like the right path. Because you want to get to, perhaps, like this 9 of Pentacles and the Magician are really nice energy. Really stable. You're really kind of in control of, not so much in control, but also managing your own, I'm hearing like wealth, abundance, your physical capacity, your health, and being able to manifest like what is my next step moving forward. But it's really, really, this is difficult because the 4 of Pentacles, like look, it doesn't matter how hard you go, you can't move this energy outside of this scheme here. Like that's it. It's so contained. And maybe that's what it is. It's almost like burning your wheels in the mud, or this is spinning on the ice. You know, you're wasting gas. You're wearing out the tread, but it's not getting you anywhere. So by the time you go to what you need to surmount, it's unsurmountable. So that's why a block is going to come forward. Because you will, the path that you're on some level for you, it's too difficult to get to this prosperity and a new beginning. That's what I'm hearing. That's why this Fox energy is showing up here. It's like spinning your wheels. The Fox is coming in to divert you from a path that may seem right at this time. But at some point on that path, if you stayed on it, you would come into a situation where you're literally almost just spinning your wheels and you can't seem to get out of it. There's no solution. At some point when you finish spinning your wheels, well, now there's the staircase, and it's pretty hard to get there after spinning your wheels for so long, to get to the top of it so that you can reach this. So I'm going to push all this up because I really feel like that's what the Fox was doing. That's why I laid them out like that. That's what the Fox is diverting you from. So where does the new path, where's this new path? What is this new path that the Fox energy will be taking? The collective. Okay, so I'm going to show you in a minute. Now, the path that you're being diverted from, the last card in that was the Magician. You know, and it's having it's knowing. It's knowing as creators of our own world, our own lives, that we can manifest things for ourselves, whether that is through imagination, through planning, through investment, through ideas, through emotions. And it's all about, for me, the magician is knowing the right element to apply at the right time to find success. And it could really, with the 4 elements here, with the magician, it's almost the number of different ways that this could be changed. Like, okay, you need to start with a pentacle, and you need to do a sword and then a cup or a wand, or no, now you need to do a pentacle again. Like that, it's almost unlimited, the different ways that you could do that. So it is in some level like knowing the strategy. So I just want to leave that with you. It's knowing the strategy to start manifesting what it is that you want. So the diversion is taking you to the 6 of Cups, the 9 of Cups. I really like that because what you're being diverted from was the 9 of Wands and 9 of Pentacles. The Father of Wands, like the King of Wands. And then the 7 of Pentacles. The 7 of Pentacles to me is almost like the strategy that we talked about with the magician. You're going to sort of end up at the same destination, but the diversion in the path is being created so that you almost have a better experience to get to the destination. You know, you wouldn't know what would happen. So you could be going to work one day and actually no, well, that's a really extreme example, but it is coming to my head. Because you do watch so many of the stories of the people who lived and worked in New York and 9/11, for whatever reason, they got diverted. Some of them got diverted. They missed their train, or their car broke down, or they ended up having a dentist appointment that morning. Something happened and they didn't go. Where, you know, like, as events play out, you would realize that diversion was a big benefit to you personally. But you don't see it at the time, and that is the thing with how life works for you and me and all of us. We don't see it at the time, but there's a diversion here. The 6 of Cups into the 9 of Cups. I just love this card because these roots are so nourished. The idea of the diversion is to transport you, transform you to a space where it's almost like you're fed nutrients. I mean, that's what's going on with this tree. And the base becomes more solid than what sits above it. So the foundation is stronger than what it holds above. And that is very, very important, obviously, for a tree. In a house that I lived in a few years ago, we had an arborist come by and assess a property. What trees would grow really well in what areas. And it was really beneficial to have them do that, as opposed to just be, well, I like this type of tree, so I'm going to put it here. If it doesn't do it, and you spend the next 10 years of your life trying to make this tree live, as opposed to finding something that will grow in that area and flourish. And one of the things they told us was, for the first 3 years, do not fertilize that tree. Do not fertilize that tree. Because what it'll do is, it's almost as if the environment becomes too beneficial for growth, that the canopy gets bigger than the foundation. So, and you know, it doesn't really appear as a weakness in the tree until the tree has become older, like, you know, in another 20 years. And then you have a huge windstorm, and that tree comes right down, roots and all, because the roots were never forced to go into the ground. They were never forced to spread out and look for the nutrients. So you're looking for the nutrients. It's like you're on a path to look for the nutrients, And you're going to be diverted so that you're not spinning your wheels. The diversion is intended. The purpose of the diversion is for your root system, your foundation, to have a stronger foundation. Your foundation to be stronger. And, you know, maybe at first it won't make sense. Because if the tree had a choice, it probably would have said, yeah, give me some of that fertilizer. I want to grow. I got those trees over there in that person's yard. I got to compete with them. I got to grow. No, you need to grow your root system. You need to grow your root system. And these roots are just filled, because these roots are so filled with color. So the foundation becomes the inspiration for the future. And that takes you into the Nine of Cups, which is so much better than the Nine of Wands. Really, it's so much better than the Nine of Wands. Wish fulfillment, a dream, your dream coming true. Being in alignment with the vibrational frequency of the universe so you can be heard when it's time to manifest. And what's so uncanny is that it takes you into the Father of Wands, the King of Wands. And if I look at how I've actually got these sitting here, I've got the Six of Cups under the Fox. I don't know, I guess you can't really, there's only so much table I can get into the... And so the Father of Wands sits under the Nine of Wands. I mean, they're both represented as wand energy, inspiration, spark, desire, excitement, creativity, initiation, initiating what you want. But this is exhausting because it's spinning your wheels. So instead of going down the path where you are not, your cups aren't filled. It really feels like the difference between your cups filling up, your foundation building strong, compared to your cups almost spilling, like if you were carrying cups across a staircase like that, and you were already tired from spinning your wheels. You're going to lose so much out of the cups. You're going to lose a lot out of yourself. And then this takes you into the Seven of Pentacles. Look at, they're both like a staircase, aren't they? They're both like a staircase to take you where you want, to elevate you. But one elevation is going to cost you. One is going to hurt. One is going to be painful. One is going to be exhausting. But the other one almost has a step-by-step systematic approach. And that's what you want to find with a magician. So that you know, what is it do I need to do now? How do I need to engage myself in my life to manifest what I would like to create? So really, the message is, it's important to fill your cups. But your cups have to be filled with the right nutrients. And the right nutrients has to go to the right place. Because if you put the fertilizer around the base of the tree, the first 3 years, I think it was because the first 3 years is when the tree spends its time establishing its root system. But if you give it the nutrients, if you spoil it... We all been spoiled. We all been spoiled? We are kind of spoiled. Like, some of my first world problems are pretty sad. I don't know about yours, but mine they are. But it's not to say that they don't tire us out. But if you spoil the tree and you don't force it to look for its nutrients, you don't force it to, I mean, you still have to water it though, right? You still have to, it still needs the water in the sun. Don't oversaturate it as well, though. Encourage it to spread its roots. That's kind of what this is, really. It's kind of the universe coming forward here to tell us, I do think on one level, if you're feeling beaten down and worn out, by the universe, by the world in general, the way things have been playing out and how that's been affecting you on a personal level, I do find like I'm just finding people take things very personally. And likely because, you know, it's been a heavy 12 months for most. It's been a heavy 12 months for most people. And at that point, there could be people saying like, really? I mean, what more? What more are you doing? But I do feel like the message is, the fairies, these friends are coming out to say, the universe is your friend. It might not feel like it right now. It might not feel like it right now. And if the tree sees you fertilizing those 5-year-old shrubs over there, fertilizing the lawn, oh, why don't I get any? Why are you making me work so hard? I'm so hungry. I actually forgot to eat breakfast one morning, and I never do that. Yeah, anyways. Yeah. It's the fertilizer. You're going to find it. You're going to find the nutrients that you need. And in doing that, it's producing a foundation of strength for you moving forward, where you will almost avoid the staircase of doom. I call it the staircase of doom. And it will take you feeling like this is how to approach a staircase. I mean, the King of Wands, this person is energetic, energized, they're feeling really good, really in tune with their body, their spirit, their mind. This is mojo, like mega mojo. And look at, you've got mega mojo to start the journey. I was looking for the word because I didn't want to say surmount this. It doesn't sound like something that needs to be surmounted. And it doesn't sound like something that is an obstacle that you need to. It feels like your path, your journey it's elevating you. It's elevating you to where you're going into the future, but it's step by step. And it's clear, and it can be seen, and it can even be anticipated. This is like too, I mean, this is only a portion of the moonlight shining on this staircase. So there could be steps that are you can't anticipate these. And they could be painful along the way. They could trip you up. And you've already been spinning your wheels. So then we have the Fool at the bottom. Watch that step. Sorry, maybe I need to get shears for that door. So it's not, the light's not so strong, but it is, you know, like that kind of overcast sort of day. I almost find it's brighter. Where like, it's just a flat gray, a light gray, whitish gray, the sky. I almost find that brighter than when the sun is actually out. I guess because there's so much reflection. But the Fool is, I'm hearing that last step is a doozy. Watch where you go. That last step is a doozy. So you're getting ready. No, the first step is a doozy. Because it's the Fool. It's the first step into the Magician. So the diversion is so that you can take that first step in this energy, instead of this energy. Now you all know how I like to clarify. So let's see. I'm going to sit with the cards. Isn't that funny how that's come out? I can't really show you. Can I show you how I've ended up laying these out? They've just naturally sit like this. You can't see. I don't know. I've almost been debating like doing my reading so you just see the table. I don't know. You don't really need to see me. Do you see that? And then we kind of end with the Magician here. The fox is a diversion, and the fox serves to strengthen your root system, to feed you, to feed yourself. That's what that is, because you are teaching the tree to feed itself. You are forcing the tree to look for its nutrients instead of spoon feeding it. And it's spoiled. I mean, it's kind of like how to spoil a plant, how to spoil a tree. So then it's not prepared in 20 years when a storm comes through because it didn't build the foundation. I need a sip of tea. Let's look at the Four of Pentacles. This is the card that feels like to me I'm hearing spinning your wheels. And it sits right behind the fox. It's like the fox, the diversion comes in just in time to stop you from a situation or a path where you will be spinning your wheels. The King of Cups. See, his cup looks empty in this picture. I talked about that. Like, it's important that your cups get filled. See, the Four of Pentacles empties the cups. Even though it's a physical thing, it empties you emotionally. Even though, because it's a pentacle, but it does empty you emotionally. The Nine of Wands, this staircase, this precarious staircase, the Nine of Wands. See, it's the Ace of Wands. It is trying to get to this new beginning. Wasn't that funny? I never really took note of that before, but I'm being drawn to take note to the fact that there's little shoots of growth coming off the top of this wand, this stick. There's growth, but there's nothing below it, right? Like it's like a dead stick that's growing, but yet it hasn't created a foundation. It hasn't created a root system, this new beginning. The Nine of Pentacles. This is a high achievement card. Oh my gosh, it's clarified by the Nine of Pentacles. It's just like the Nine of Pentacles is, I'm hearing like high achievement, achieving in a very high way here, in a very lucrative, successful. But the path to get there without the diversion is depleting. Okay, your Six of Cups. This is what I feel. I feel like this card is the whole reading. Like it is the foundation of the whole reading. The Six of Cups. Look at that. It's the World and the King of Wands, which is what's coming down here with the Father of Wands, right? It is a whole new cycle. You're being diverted for a whole new cycle. Because this one, there's no root system in it. It might feel like a new beginning. It might feel like, once I get past this point, once I get over this hurdle, but then there's another one. Okay, once I get over this hurdle, but then there's another one. I know I'm going to have my new beginning. I know it's going to get better. Yeah, the Six of Cups, this diversion, and this is like your big cycle here with the World. This is it, coming into your big cycle. I feel like too, because The King of Wands is holding what looks almost like an Ace of Wands as well, like the one depicted in this one, where there's little tiny shoots coming off of it. But his staff, his wand, is quite large. Doesn't come out right. And it feels like to me, because it's sitting here, and then the Father of Wands comes in later on the same row, that it's talking about the importance of this root system. The importance of the difference between feeding a man or feeding a village and teaching a village how to feed itself. It's kind of like what the Six of Cups is with not providing fertilizer for the tree, for the plant, for your journey. So I think about what a root system has to work through. It probably has to work through parts of clay, rocks, even fragments of metal. Who knows what else is in the ground that the tree has to push through and work around. And it has to do that in many ways. There isn't just one root here that's going to create success. It's a whole, but I'm just hearing like a whole bunch of hair. If you could really think about it, and flowing underneath the surface of the ground, and it flows. But this also builds communication, because trees communicate with each other above the ground as well as below the ground. And the Six of Cups in traditional tarot can be about soulmates, nostalgia, people from your past. So there is definitely an element of communication and connection there. So it's building that. The Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups. The Moon. With the Moon coming out, being part of where you're being diverted, it's a little bit like like this diversion may not feel right, or you may not understand how it's supposed to serve your growth. There could be confusion. There could be fears. You could be forced to use your intuition on a deeper level than you had before. Needing to kind of trust where you're being led to go. It's kind of interesting too to look at this Nine of Wands, this staircase that's lit by just this little crescent moon, where the Moon card is showing us all the cycles of the moon, showing us the crescent moon, it's showing us the full moon. So even though it might be unknown to you, the path will not be as precarious as this path that you could end up going on. And it's a clear path. Like you can see how far it goes across these hills. The Father of Wands. The Father of Wands. The Five of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, because the Ace of Pentacles is leading us into the Seven of Pentacles over here. At this point, when you reach the Father of Wands energy, when you're feeling like the Father of Wands, the King of Wands here, you're feeling empowered, you're feeling confident in where you're going because you have walked through, you've walked through the unknown. You've filled your cups. You've filled your foundation. You've fed your foundation here. You've created your new cycle, and you're creating it on a foundation that's stable, a foundation that is full of nutrients, a foundation that can spread out and connect beyond itself as well with the Six of Cups. When do you get to that? I mean, that's what brings you into this Father of Wands energy. I feel like at this point, this is where you get to where you wanted to go with the Five of Swords. It's like, oh, here I am. This is where I feel like I was diverted from this, but it's actually my new beginning, but I had to go around this way to get to it. Because then it takes us into the Seven of Pentacles and the Magician. The Seven of Pentacles. So you have the Four of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. There's that spinning your wheels and confusion too. Confusion, too many choices. I feel like it's really telling us that this is why the diversion occurs. Because that's where you were diverted just before the Four of Pentacles. So it really is, you're going to end up where you want to go, where you think you're going, where you hoped you were going, but you're going to be diverted. And the diversion comes in right at the point where you would have been spinning your wheels, and spinning your wheels would have, I feel like, depleted the cup. The cup would have become empty. So even sort of a physical diversion. Physically, you can't go there anymore. Or physically, the plans have changed. Or, like something has changed. And going up that staircase, continuing on that path, would have emptied the cups. So you get diverted. You learn to feed your root system. You learn to look beyond what's being provided. You're forced to look beyond what's being provided because maybe the provision has stopped. You fill your cup. You fill 9 cups here, and you have to do it going kind of like having some faith, pushing through your fears, pushing through the unknown, and in doing that, you really come out like very strong in a new beginning with the Father of Wands, taking you on the path. Like if this was your path, you get diverted and you're going over here. Both of them end up here. But the path that you're diverted to creates a foundation. Let's say 20 years from now, if a storm comes through, it's not going to knock you down. It's not going to knock this down. Where if you had ended up in the same spot on the path that you thought you were meant to take, 20 years from now, that a storm could come through and take it down. So you may even be seeing people who are, depending on what their journey is, maybe their journey at this time is meant to be easier than yours, less confusing, less diversions. Perhaps in 20 years they'll have storms that they need to negotiate. Maybe their tree will stand, maybe it won't. But I really feel like for you, you're being told that this diversion is so that your tree will stand. So that whatever new beginning, because you have the World card, whatever new beginning you're creating, it will kind of almost stand the test of time, for at least for your time. The Two of Wands is at the bottom. I'm not really getting anything out of that. It's interesting, some of the, I'm always fascinated by dark. The darkness of the human experience. And, because you can't deny that it's not there. Like, it's there. It's part of why we're here. And it is kind of to push us to the light. It's also for us to make our own choices. But you can watch, you can observe too, different people that you know, people who seem to have easier journeys, people who seem to have a lighter path in life too. And I'm only bringing this up because it does seem like you're being diverted. And maybe there'll be some frustration here because why is this reading coming out? Maybe it's coming out because you won't know, why are you diverting me? Why are you making me, universe, why are you taking away my sustenance? Why are you taking away, why are you not giving me the nutrients that I see the other trees getting? That could be a big part of it. Why? Why is that not happening for me? Well, unbeknownst to you, you were about to hit a period of time where you would have been spinning your wheels and it would have been very difficult for you. But, so what I'm getting at, we all live many lifetimes. I really do believe that. I think most of you do too. And I think it really can be explained too, how so many people can be born with just natural talents for particular things, or they just know how to do it. They're just wired. Their soul, their deeper soul knows how to do things. And then you meet people who are young souls and they're just a mess. Oh gosh, I keep doing that mistake. Anyways, so I've been watching some little mini documentaries on different people. Gosh, and some of the things that some people have to suffer through in this lifetime are just astronomical. Just astronomical. I can't remember. There was one, it was a young man in the UK, and his skin was so delicate. I can't remember what it was, like it wouldn't, just touching it would constantly, what was, it wasn't, the elasticity wasn't there. I can't remember what it was, but he was almost in constant pain, and once a week, I think he lived to his mid-30s, and once a week his mother still had to change the bandages on his back. And the pain that he went through. And he lived in pain for his whole life. And, you know, I just thought to myself, gosh, like, what a strong soul too. And he tried to do, you know what, I need to find it. Where's my phone? Because it's really worth watching. And I really found it so profound, because he was handed such a difficult hand to play in life. And I mean like physical pain and suffering. But he found meaning in it, like really found meaning in it. And to the day he died, he tried to put meaning into his life. And like if you see people, I feel like this is coming up for a reason. Like if you see people who are not having to go through difficulties that you have to, maybe their life has just been really easy. Maybe, you know, everything has just been simple for them for whatever reason, but perhaps that person lived a life like this man that I saw in a previous life. And people need vacations. So I kind of feel like a lot of the people that come to this channel are probably people that don't get vacations in life, because they're always looking for, what is the universe doing now, Cindy? Tell me what is going on. So I think that's coming up for me. Let me get my phone. Carpet here now. And let me see if I can, it was a while ago. I don't know if it still comes up in my history. It's really worth watching. His attitude just blew my mind. Let me see if I can find it here. And I think that's what I find interesting too about, you know, seeing about different people that have different challenges in life. And it's just incredible how they are able to find meaning in it. Johnny Kennedy, the man whose skin fell off. Oh, and there's no H in Johnny, Jonny, Kennedy. God, this guy was just so amazing. Yeah, watch that if you want. I just like, really an incredible story. And I know some people have difficulty watching or observing people that suffer or have some sort of a physical ailment, and they find it difficult to look at. Everybody has their own comfort zone. I find it, for myself, I feel it's important to know the story, is to know, because this person found meaning in their struggle. This is an intense struggle. Incredible. So there you go. So those are some of the things that Cindy does when Cindy has a little bit of time on her hands. Is that it? I think so. That's pretty good. Yeah. That is pretty good. So, I don't think this is going to have the typical... So, here's my other... This is going to not have the typical screenshot of the cards for, you know, when I used to do the fairy readings? Because my new laptop that I got, I don't have Photoshop on it. I had that on my old one. And I don't know how to get the new one. I'm tired. How the heck am I going to install a new computer program if I spend 2 days trying to take a simple shower head off of the shower, turning it in the wrong direction? I don't know. So there you go. I think I gotta go do, I have to do mom stuff. I have to make lunch. Yeah. And then I'll do videos. So, by the time you watch this, I'll probably be recording something else. Something else, guys. Life is something else, isn't it? I hope you all enjoyed this reading. It's very fascinating. I'm glad I did it. I feel like we've all connected again. I wanted to update. I've been getting emails from people I guess that didn't know that I... Some of them are kind of funny. About like, Cindy, you're slurring. Are you slurring? Are you okay? I think somebody thought I was having a stroke, which is nice because they wanted to. I mean, by the time I read the email, I'd probably be dead. But no, I still have this orthodontic thing in my mouth. Not this coming week, but the next week. I have an appointment. So what I think is going to happen, because you can see I have the braces on the bottom, I think is this is coming out, which will be great, because it's got the roof of my mouth, which, you know, stops my tongue from being able to go where it would naturally go to talk. I believe that is finally coming out, and then I think faces go on the outside, so there'll be nothing inside my mouth to interfere. But I really don't know. I'm pretty sure this, I don't know. I found out the girl who does the work in my mouth, she's a Scorpio, and I thought, isn't that perfect? Like, if anyone is going to torture you, Scorpio. So her and I had a good laugh about that. Yeah, she watches, I don't know, she said she would. She said here I'm full of cards. I guess I finished. I don't know. You know what? I've been in isolation for so long, talking to myself and the dog. My son a bit. When he was, I don't know. Oh, that was the other thing. What did I say? So, oh, you cannot say the word. He's going to be 11 soon. Oh my God, I have to share something funny with you guys. So I'm finished doing the reading. If you're not interested in my jibber jabber, you can go now. This is the funniest story. So before we moved, and I was packing, and he's been doing online learning at school. So he would be in his room, and understandably, he would close his door because, you know, I was putting boxes together with the tape, and yeah. But to be honest, I think he's also like not doing as much as he should be doing. Anyways, at this point, I don't care. Just like, people survived the Second World War, the First World War, the Depression, all sorts of shit, and they all got back on their feet again at some point, so it would be fine. So, I had to go in his room. Oh, because it was the day before we were going to move. Was that what it was? Oh no, it was a couple days before. So I wanted to take the mattress off the frame of the bed. Long story short, I wanted to go in before his lunch break to strip the bed so that during his lunch break I could just take the mattress off and remove the frame. Yeah, so it wouldn't be so much of a disturbance in his room while he was doing online learning. So I guess I went in and it was like a little break between a break. Which, God bless the teacher. I'm surprised she wasn't gone all the time. Oh my Jesus. I don't know how they do that. Anyway, so he's having a conversation like, I don't know, I guess it's Discord. So they can't see each other. Him and a couple other classmates of his. But they can hear each other. They're talking back and forth. so funny. I'm stripping his bed. His friends don't know I'm in the room. And before, I'll also say that I did like the whole sex talk with my son last year when he turned 10. And it was basic, and we had a book, and we talked about stuff, and it was kind of funny because out of everything, what shocked him the most was that we all started from an egg. I started from a little egg. And that was what really shocked him. So anyways, so they're talking, and one of his friends says, I don't remember, I guess the teacher was asking the health teacher or something, like, do you guys want to, maybe, because there's in grade 5, and I think they talk about that in grade 5 in health class, or whatever they call that now, about puberty. And his friend said, I don't want to know about puberty. I don't want them to talk about puberty. So I'm in the room hearing this conversation. My son's not saying much, obviously, because I'm in the room. And his friend was going on and on about, I don't want to learn about puberty. I don't want to know. He says, I don't want, I can't even say it with a straight face. I don't want to know why we grow hairs on our balls. Oh my God, it was my son couldn't stop laughing. He started laughing and laughing because of course his mom is in the room. And they're like, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? He couldn't stop laughing. I finished stripping the bed and they'd all calmed down, and I think they were kind of going on to another topic. And just as I was leaving the room, you know, I had to do it. I piped over to his microphone. I said, you have a good day, boys. Of course I had to say that. So funny. That was the funniest thing ever. I don't know, maybe that doesn't sound funny here. I don't want them to talk about puberty. I don't want to know about puberty. I don't want to know why I grow hair on my balls. Oh my God. What the heck? So needless to say, there's now a stage in my house where you can't use the word balls for anything. Oh. Yeah, it's just like that, you know, that juvenile boy humor. Everything. Thinking, how did we get to this? We were ordering Chinese food the other night. For Chinese New Year, we ordered from a Mandarin restaurant. We usually get chicken balls. Yep. That became a big joke. See, this is my life right now. I'm like in isolation with an almost 11-year-old boy and a little fluffy dog. I'm crazy. I'm going crazy. Yeah. So now I call them chicken spheres. I don't know. I have to call them chicken spheres just to move the conversation along. Because I was saying something too at the beginning about my my wool balls. I'm turning into a juvenile. That's what's happening. He's changing me. I'm becoming very juvenile. So yeah, that was a whole joke too, because I lost the wool balls in the move. So everything needs to be a sphere now. It's a sphere. It's not purple. Oh Lord. Anyways, so that's what's going on here. It's a hot mess. Let's go. That's the other thing. So I got more to tell you. Holy jeez. So you know the other house. So you know the other house. How the heat decided not to work all of a sudden, and then the power started turning off. So this house has one of those fancy new thermostats called a Nest. I guess it's convenient if you're the owner and you don't live in the same country as the house, so you can kind of monitor the heat and see what the hell's going on. That is the dumbest shit I ever came across. Honest to God. So consistently, I had the house for a week before we moved into it. So I was cleaning and exhausting myself, doing all that stuff. But let's not talk about it because I want to forget about it. So every morning when I would come to the house, it would be 17 degrees Celsius. That's cold, especially when it's like -20 wind chill outside. You kind of want to walk into a warm house. It was cold, the floor was cold, and I kept adjusting the damn temperature. 22, 23. And it wouldn't go up. It would tell me I'll do that in 2 hours. I'm like, why are you telling me you're going to do that in 2 hours? I want it now. Like, do it now. And it wouldn't do it now. So anyways, I have a friend, and they have a Nest in their house, and she hates it. I don't know, maybe it's a guy thing. Guys like techie shit. So, yeah, she says it's complicated. And her husband went away on a scout trip a couple years ago in the winter. And it was connected to his phone, and she couldn't adjust the time. I don't know what happened. It's just a kerfuffle for her. So they actually came over to help me with the Nest. So, and you can see us all, we got our masks on, and 6 feet away. And he's showing me how to program it manually. So I'm like, okay, so he's doing it, and he says, no, watch. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. So I learned how to do it, so I feel really smart now. I can program the Nest, sort of. I can schedule it. So we did the whole thing, but we had to delete, like this, it was crazy. It would be 17 degrees from like 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. And then it would shoot up to 21 degrees until noon. And then it would go down to 19 degrees. Which was like, what the hell? So we had to delete all that. And then we reprogrammed it. So I think I had to go down to like 20 degrees at night. And up around 20, 23, I think during the day, or 20, I don't know. So, and we did that a couple days before we moved in, officially. And I would come in the morning and the house would still be 17 degrees. So I sent a message to, shout out. I don't usually say people's names on here. I shouldn't say it because I haven't asked her permission. She has the most fun name ever. But anyway, so she's a real estate agent that represents, not the one that I used to help me find the place, but so now I'm with this one who represents the owner of this house. So send her a message. Hey, can you ask the owner to disconnect their phone or whatever devices they have connected to the thermostat in the house so I'm not living in a house at 17 degrees and I can have some control over my environmental conditions. And she's like, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, 24 hours later, I got the message. Everything's been disconnected. And it seemed fine. It was working. So here's the thing. We've been here now. Yeah, we've been here 3 days. I want to know, does anyone else have a Nest? And does this have AI in it? Is it trying to learn me? I really want to know that. Because it's doing stuff on its own. But it's not doing stuff like it used to before. I don't know what it's doing. So, yesterday the house felt kind of warm. And it was kind of warm. It was almost 24 degrees. I thought, it's too warm in here. I'm good with 22. Maybe 23, you know? So, yeah, the temperature was going up again. So then I put it down. And it went down to 22. So this morning, making breakfast, doing stuff. I brought something to my son in his little den, which is where the thermostat is. And when you walk by, it's motion activated. It comes on. So this is the thing now. It sat at 21 point, if the temperature was 21.5. That's what it was. And now it was preheating. That's what it said. It was preheating to 24 degrees. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the term preheating, I've only ever associated that with an oven. You know, any sort of cooking element. It's preheating. So I get a little nervous when I've been dealing with thermostat. This seems to have its own mind. It cooperated with me for a few days. And now it's kind of like, I'm going to see where I can go with this with you. It's what it feels like is happening. Maybe I'm reading too much into thermostat. Again, I've been like 12 months with a boy, a juvenile, and a dog. So I don't know. But I'm feeling a little anxious because it's preheating. Like, what's its plan? Have you guys watched that movie on Netflix, The Escape Room? Because it's the first room they go into. Turns into an oven. Yeah. So, that's the new thing now. I have a thermostat that is, you know, it's full of fairy, man. It's full of fairy energy, I will say that. And I've never, ever encountered a house that was preheating to a temperature that I had not set it to. So, yeah. that's that. And I still have not seen a single person or car go by on this sidewalk and street. Nothing. Nada. Not a thing. How is that possible? What are all these people doing inside? That's what I'd like to know. Like at the other area, people were going for walks and going outside. Cars were driving by. There isn't even like a UPS. Used to see lots of UPS. Oh, that was funny too. Yeah, this is going to be a long video. You probably, if you see my community, the community section in the channel, depends on the device. I don't think all device supports it. So I ordered a new TV. I needed a TV because the other house, there was a TV already installed on the wall. So I didn't need to. I just used that one. But I'm moving on to TV. Because I gotta watch my Netflix and YouTube documentaries about people having rough lives. So, the TV, they just delivered it to the house and I left it at the front door, UPS. I'm like, okay. Luckily no one stole it. Nobody comes out here anyway, so no one probably even saw it. Like, so I came by and I dragged it in the house that day. I wasn't even living here yet. So I think I just happened to see it on one of those runs going back and forth. Oh, there's a TV at the front. That's good. So then a few days later, I come to the house and I've missed UPS. And it's one of those, you know, little stickies they put on the door. Sorry, we missed you. You got to come and get your package now. Screw you. You got to come and get it. It's pretty much that. So I didn't have time to do that. I was busy getting ready to move, so I stuck it on the fridge. And it was a couple days ago or yesterday? I think it was yesterday. So that's the other thing. I've lost all track of time. I don't know. But anyway, so I thought I'm going to go to UPS and I'm going to get the package. This is the other thing. My rebounder is no longer. It's bit the dust. So I haven't even had that to work, to exercise. I've been 2 weeks without that. I'm really feeling that. So I ordered a new one and I've been waiting for it to come. So I thought it's probably that, right? Yeah. I mean, it's not something they can leave at the door. What could that be? They can leave a TV at the door. So I go there, and then before I go there, I put the back seats of my car down because I'm ready for this big box. And I have, I drive a Kia Soul, so it has a lot of space if we put the back seats down. Otherwise, it's, you know, you can get a couple of suitcases in a cooler back there, though. You'd be surprised what you get back in there. So yeah, I'm all ready. And I go to UPS. And, you know, real friendly. And then he brings out the box. And it's this big. And I said, where does that come from? This is from Amazon. I thought I got everything I ordered from Amazon. Like I ordered 3M hooks and all sorts of that sort of stuff. Huh. Thinking, what the hell is in here? You know, I don't remember ordering something that was like maybe temperature sensitive because it's been really cold or expensive with a TV. So I get it home and I open it up and there's plastic shower caddies. The 3M plastic caddies. I think they were $8 each. 2 of them in the box. They wouldn't leave them at the front door. Oh, this is such a messed up world, I tell you. So stupid. Yeah. Yeah. So anyways. That's it. I think that's the end of my stories. The ones that I want to talk about. Yeah. I'm going to go have lunch now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the premiere of this. So it gives you all an opportunity to chit-chat with each other. This went on forever. I mean, it really did. But it's been 2 weeks, so what are you going to do? I got a lot to say. A lot is built up in there. It was a great message. I don't even know if the message was as long as my jibber-jabber at the beginning and my jibber-jabber at the end. But there you go. So thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to connect with you. And I'm back. I would like to say I'm back. And actually, yeah, my son Tuesday starts, what do you call it, face-to-face? Brick and mortar school again. Yeah, so I'm actually going to have some time in the house. He's not here. But I love him so much. But like I told him this morning, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So true. So, perhaps we're fonder of each other? What is that? That's not... That's weird. I don't know. You know what? You can just... If I'm not channeling a message, I'm just a disaster right now. So it's kind of helpful for me too, because it just... anyways. Until next time, guys. Be gentle with yourselves. Bye.